Right now at 6, a former governor and mayor whose career was defined by a sex abuse scandal has died. The complicated legacy of Neil Goldschmidt. Plus, new video of harrowing moments on I-5 as state troopers chased a double murder suspect with a baby in his car.
He's fine!
And a controversial superintendent steps aside as anger grows over a multi-billion-dollar crisis.
We need trusted leadership to come in to help us through what's going to be a very hard process for years to come.
Who's now trying to lead Newberg out of the red? And later,
this building behind me has been a fixture on the corner of Northwest Cooch and Broadway. Used to be Embers for decades. Well, tonight it's opening up with a new name.
good evening, everyone. We begin at 6 with breaking news that former Oregon Governor Neil Goldschmidt has died. His time in public service and his legacy, however, are largely overshadowed by the fact that he repeatedly raped a 14-year-old girl while serving as Portland's mayor. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. Goldschmidt's downfall came in 2004 when Willamette Week revealed the sex abuse, and since then he has largely been out of the public eye. During his political career, he's credited with bringing the Max to Portland, creating Pioneer Courthouse Square and Tom McCall Waterfront Park. His success led to a cabinet position at the White House, where he served as transportation secretary for President Jimmy Carter. After Carter lost to Ronald Reagan, Goldschmidt returned to Oregon and then served as governor. In 2004, when a KGW crew confronted him about the rape allegations, he denied them. Then, the next day, Goldschmidt released a statement admitting to everything, though despite his admission, he was never charged with a crime because the statute of limitations had expired. Today, we talked with Kerry Timchuk at the Oregon Historical Society to get his perspective on Goldschmidt's death.
The crimes that he committed, the crimes that he confessed to, the crimes that ruined a young girl's life will always be, I think, the lead line in whatever legacy he has.
Echoing that in a statement, Senator Ron Wyden told us, quote, Neil Goldschmidt's abuse of a young girl destroyed her life, a horrific act that should make any other discussion of his political career moot. He went on to say the best response to this news would be to contribute to organizations dedicated to preventing sexual abuse, such as the Oregon Association for the Treatment and Prevention of Sexual Abuse, end quote. According to the Oregonian, Goldschmidt spent his final years between his two homes in southwest Portland and France. Goldschmidt died from heart failure at the age of 83.
Put your hands high in the sky, driver!
For the first time, we are seeing dramatic police body and dash cam videos from a high-speed chase and shootout along I-5. These are from April during an Amber Alert and multi-state search for a former police officer wanted for murdering two women who also had a one-year-old in the car. A warning, some of the images here may be disturbing for some viewers. Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi has been reviewing the video and joins us now with those details. Kyle.
And this video was released after the Linn County District Attorney wrapped up his investigation. The DA found that the officers involved, including the superintendent of Oregon State Police, were legally justified in shooting. The suspect ultimately died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after a chase along Interstate 5 that reached speeds near 100 miles per hour.
April 23rd, 2:39 p.m. Oregon State Police spot a wanted man on Interstate 5 after an Amber Alert. The former police officer, 39-year-old Elias Huizar, is suspected of murdering two women in central Washington, then abducting a one-year-old child.
2312. He's going to go ahead and take off from us. We're in this. Got a pursuit going southbound.
Newly released dash cam and body cam video shows the high-speed chase near Eugene.
Do it.
Police try to rear-end the suspect's vehicle.
312 is going to redirect you down the freeway.
But the suspect continues on.
Turn around, Katie.
Officers ram him again, but he doesn't stop. Seconds later, there's an exchange of gunfire.
He's fine.
Nobody is hurt during the initial shootout, and the chase continues on I-5 southbound.
2312, shots fired at me. I'm good, I think.
The suspect then crashes a few miles away. When police catch up with him, they find him dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police pull the one-year-old from the car. The child is okay, and the chase is over.
In addition to the videos, police also released 85 pages of reports. The documents indicate that prior to the chase along Interstate 5, police and the FBI had tracked the suspect to the Portland area after he used his bank card at an ATM. A store clerk also spotted him. The reports indicate he swapped out license plates with stolen plates to avoid getting caught. Back to you.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate your work on this and that update. Let's get to your other headlines now, starting in Tigard, where more than a dozen people are without a home after a two-alarm fire tore through their apartment building overnight. The fire, which sparked around 12:30 in the morning at Brightwaters at Red Hawk apartment complex on Southwest 108th and Durham, burned 11 units. When the first crews got there, they saw flames coming out of the roof and residents evacuating.
It was scary, for sure. We're just glad it wasn't in our building and that we didn't want people to be hurt or anything like that.
Everyone was able to get out safely, with the Red Cross helping those who are displaced. Fire crews brought the flames there under control in about an hour. No word yet on the cause. Bit of a similar story in Clark County, where some residents are also out of their homes after an apartment complex fire in Hazel Dell last night. This was at the Erica Village Apartments on Northeast 105th. Investigators say the fire started on the second floor, then spread, impacting 18 units and causing portions of the buildings to collapse. Fire crews say everyone living at the complex had to temporarily relocate because of water damage and the loss of power. The Red Cross has stepped in to help there as well. Well, a new memorial to honor service members who died in the Vietnam War is now coming to Salem. Today, the Vietnam War Memorial Fund announced the start of construction in Wilson Park on the Capitol grounds. It will include a series of columns with the names and hometowns of the 790 Oregonians who served in Vietnam and did not come home. There will also be a sculpture of a returning soldier and a gathering space. Construction should be finished by October. And some exciting news for both readers and travelers. After a 4-year hiatus, Powell's Books is returning to Portland International Airport. The 7-year lease agreement will start with a temporary kiosk later this summer when the main terminal opens, and then eventually a new and larger space. The PDX shop will become Powell's 4th Portland area retail location. Matt?
All right, David, thanks very much. Boy, what a day around the Northwest. All of Oregon seeing scenes like this, a clear sky and really pleasant temperatures. Cooler, of course, at the coast where it's 60. Nice breeze out of the north, about 14 miles an hour. But the winds have backed off from yesterday. The humidity remains low pretty much all over the state. Look at Timberline right now. Just absolutely stunning look at Mount Hood, and even up at 6,000 feet in the Mount Hood National Forest. It's 54 degrees. Humidity is low there, and the winds have backed off from the gusty conditions that we had yesterday. So, I mean, you couldn't ask for better late spring weather, right? And a quick look at the satellite imagery. I mean, there's hardly any clouds around anywhere this afternoon. A few fair weather cumulus clouds over the top of the coast range, but those have dissipated already. And we have more clear weather on the way for tomorrow. Look at this, up to 80 degrees tomorrow, sunset at 9:01. So enjoy. All right, Thursday, we get warmer than we were today. Showers this weekend, though, and a chance for thunderstorms. We'll dig into that in a bit, David.
Yeah, but for now, everybody gets sunshine. Thank you, Matt. Now at 6, we're following a change in leadership at the top of the Newberg School District, where the superintendent is out, at least temporarily, in the midst of a multi-million-dollar budget crisis, with parents calling for his resignation. Ashley Grams is live at district offices. So, Ashley, what happens now?
Well, Superintendent Phillips will be on medical leave for the next 2 months. The district says they will not elaborate on that any further, but the school board has already appointed, an interim superintendent. That's Dr. Paula Radish. This role is not new to her. She actually served in this role as superintendent for 13 years. She stepped in today. She will serve the next 60 days for free. We talked with some parents about the change.
It is real leadership for her to say, I will volunteer my time. She's not going to be paid. She's doing this out of the goodness of her heart to help rescue our school district.
Well, Radich is inheriting a budget deficit now estimated to be more than $12 million for next school year. During a budget meeting earlier this week, the school board considered laying off 60 full-time employees and budgeting 10 furlough days for next year. Now, I did reach out to the school district. I asked them questions about layoffs and about any kind of plan to address this budget deficit. They told me they believe those questions are important, but they need more time to be able to answer any of them. David?
Yeah, more questions, more uncertainty. Thank you, Ashley. The new data now that shows the number of tents and tarps Multnomah County has purchased and given to homeless people in the past year. Now, since last July, it's handed out more than 6,500 tents and more than 24,000 tarps. Some county leaders argue it's a humane way to respond, while some critics say it's money poorly spent. Blair Best has that story.
Wednesday morning inside Portland City Council chambers revealed alarming new data around Portland's homeless crisis.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and council members.
That's John DiLorenzo, the attorney behind the 2022 lawsuit against the city of Portland, claiming tents block ADA access on public sidewalks. As part of the settlement deal reached last spring, the city agreed to prioritize removing campsites obstructing sidewalks and to track that progress.
The city has removed over 4,000 encampments, which equates to about 8,000 to 12,000 tents.
That's more tents than the number of homeless people in Multnomah County, according to the most recent point-in-time count. So why is that? Well, new data from a public records request shows at the same time those encampments were being removed, the Joint Office of Homeless Services, a city and county-run group where the county holds most of the power, was handing out more than 6,500 tents and more than 24,000 tarps.
It's a crazy exercise of trying to walk up the down escalator.
A Portland City Commissioner and mayoral candidate Rene Gonzalez agrees. We caught up with him during his lunch break on Wednesday.
Deeply concerning. You know, we're seeing this cycle of pumping tents and tarps into our community. We know a lot of that's coming from the Joint Office on Homelessness and some of our well-intentioned nonprofits, and we're continuing to spend way too much as a city trying to clean up our streets.
County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson responded Wednesday that handing out tents and tarps, especially during severe weather events, is all part of having a humane response to those living on our streets while we increase our housing and shelter capacity.
That is the least humane way of responding. It encourages people to stay outdoors. The whole idea is to encourage people to come indoors.
In last week's nearly $4 billion budget vote, the county approved to spend $230,000 on more tents for the homeless this year. A Portland City Commissioner and mayoral candidate Carmen Rubio responded by saying banning tents is not the solution, but she wants to learn more about the county's decision to put more money toward tent and tarp distribution. Records also show that Rapid Response BioClean, that's the commercial cleaning service the city pays more than $26 million to remove homeless camps, also got some of those tents and tarps. It's unclear where exactly they ended up.
The problem is those very tents that they checked out, they're going to have to charge the city ultimately to clean up too. So it's just an endless cycle. It makes no sense at all.
We've got some tough conversations coming in the next 2 weeks on this topic, but needless to say, I'm deep concerned.
So as for the tents that are removed, the county holds them along with anything else left behind in a storage unit for 30 days. If they're not claimed, they get thrown out. Now, the city gives the county about $40 million a year to fund the Joint Office of Homeless Services. That's the group responsible for purchasing all the tents and tarps. Some are calling on the city to sever those ties and instead put that money toward opening more shelter. And there'll be a vote on that in the coming weeks. David?
Yeah, we'll see where the 3 commissioners running for mayor land on that. Thank you, Blair. Straight ahead at 6, the Portland spot that's now been named the most outstanding restaurant in the country, how the chef of Long Pond is keeping it all in perspective. And could a Rose City tradition be riding or pedaling off into the sunset? An update just in from the organizers of the World Naked Bike Ride.
Coming up next on The Story, I'm environmental reporter Cale Williams, and last week I went out to the gorge to see how nature is recovering after the Eagle Creek fire. And I talked to one man who, for the last 6 years, has been documenting that recovery. He's captured some amazing visuals, and we'll share them all with you coming up next at 6:30 on The Story, only on KGW.